Okay, so I have started recording this session, and we're just going to do a quick introduction. We would love for you to ask us any questions in the chat box. I have two students here with me today, Jeremy and Veronica, who will be happy to answer those questions as they pop up, and we will see how this goes. So again, I represent the Office of International Programs. We are a unit specifically within the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, and we work with students to help promote international experiences. Those range from international experiences that can be had on campus all the way to different study abroad experiences. So to go ahead and get us started off, I am going to hand the floor over to Jeremy to share about his study abroad experiences.
So welcome everybody. Hi, I'm Jeremy Lewan. I'm a junior meteorology major in the Honors College. I'm interested in broadcast meteorology, so I want to be the TV weather person in the tri-state area, hopefully in the future. I'm a member of the Meteorology Club. I'm a member of the RUTV Weather Watchers Club, so I do forecasts for Rutgers. I write for the Green Print magazine at SEBS. I'm a SEBS ambassador, of course, that's why I'm here. I'm also a member of the American Meteorological Society and the Alliance for Climate Education. I also conduct research regarding the importance of forest land patches and its effects on the Raritan Basin ecosystem. But the reason I gave you all that information about myself is because I want you to know that I'm not just interested in what I do for meteorology. I also have an interest in the Earth and studying abroad globally. And luckily, I was able to study abroad in Mexico in the Yucatan. Thanks to the Department of Study Abroad at SEBS and SEBS Global and Ms. Francis, I was able to receive a generous scholarship to study abroad in the Yucatan for a week. And while I was there, it was an amazing trip. It was a multidisciplinary trip. I was able to learn about the scientific importance of biodiversity at a biocultural reserve. I was able to snorkel in the coral reefs off the coast of Puerto Morelos on the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. And I was also able to visit flamingos in their natural nesting grounds at a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I was able to learn the scientific importance, so that's the SEBS side of me. But I also got to introduce my interests into culture and history. So I got to learn about the Mayan culture, and I got to climb several pyramids and Mayan ruins. And I also got to practice my Spanish while I was there. So the trip was awesome. I got to, as I said, snorkel off the coast of the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef and see the effects of climate change. So there again, there's the SEBS facet of it. Study the effects of climate change on coral reefs as ocean temperatures warm. It causes bleaching of coral reefs, and we got to see that bleaching firsthand. And I also got to jump into a cenote, which is a calcium deposited pool. So as millions of years ago, Mexico was overtaken by an ocean. But as the ocean receded, the creatures that lived in that ocean along the sea floor became limestone and dolomite and other types of sedimentary rock. And the continent was lifted out of the water, and cracks were filled with different types of water, and it broke it apart and caused wide caverns and caves. We were able to jump into that cenote, and that was an awesome experience. So altogether, it was a multidisciplinary trip, unattainable by any type of in situ learning. If you're learning in a classroom, you'd never be able to get an experience like this. And I can only give thanks to this Department of SEBS Study Abroad and SEBS Global to have had this experience, because it was a truly awesome experience. And these opportunities are available for students all from across the socioeconomic spectrum. If you have any financial troubles, please know that that will not stop you or hinder you from having an experience like I had.
Thank you, Jeremy. So next, I am going to introduce Veronica. So Veronica, if you could go ahead and jump in, and oh, she is in the waiting room. Oh, there we go. Veronica is now going to join us and tell us about her experience with the Lebanese program.
Hi, I'm so sorry. My Wi-Fi has been so bad. We changed our Wi-Fi connection and it's just been a disaster. Um, but hi. But hi, my name is Veronica. I'm an animal science major. I'm on the pre-vet research track and I'm a junior. So I went to Belize, the animal science, our famous animal science program in the winter. It was December 28, 2019 to January 11, 2020. And it was a great experience. So I did a lot of things. So when you go there, you're kind of like you're a veterinarian basically. We did like a spay and neuter clinic. We were working in the lab looking at different like tissues and cells, and it was a really great experience. I'm gonna put the link to my blog so you can see what I did every single day.
I think Veronica might be having some more internet trouble.
Yeah, I think so. So, Veronica, are you still there? Are you still with us?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I can start over. Okay, so my name is Veronica. I'm an animal science major on the pre-vet research track. I'm a junior, and I went to the animal science program, which is in Belize. And I did a large animal course, but they also have two other courses. So they have a marine option, and they also have a wildlife one and exotics. But I went for 2 weeks, so it was December 28, 2019 to January 11, 2020. And when you go there, you're like a veterinarian. So we did like a spay and neuter clinic. So you actually get to do a spay and neuter on dogs and cats. Well, we didn't do spay and neuter on cats, but we got to like handle cats. And we worked in the lab as well. So we looked at different tissues and cells. And it was a very great experience. We did a lot of physical exams. So in the picture, I'm doing a physical exam on a horse. Um, so yeah, that was my trip, and I'm gonna put a link to my blog so you can see what I did every single day.
Great, thank you so much. And both Jeremy and Veronica were able to blog and share that on our website. So um, at the end of this, I'll be sure to also post our website, and you can see all of the different study abroad experiences that our students have had in the past. Just another reminder that you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Please feel free to do that as we're going. Jeremy and Veronica are going to try and field those while I'm talking, and then we'll open it up to a Q&A session in just a couple of minutes here. I did want to talk about study abroad as a whole experience at Rutgers. There are a number of different opportunities that Rutgers Global Study Abroad provides for students. In addition to that, working with the SEBS Global Office, or my Office of International Programs, promotes opportunities for students directly tied to their scientific interests, to their majors, and we provide support via scholarship. So there are a variety of different programs that are relevant to students' degrees. There are also programs that are relevant to your interests outside of the normal major sitting in a classroom doing your work experience that you would typically have studying at Rutgers. If you are a meteorology student or an animal science student, but you also really find microbiology interesting, we have a microbiology and culture of cheese and wine study abroad program that you could participate in. If you are meteorology and animal science and you like music or dance, there are programs that are also specific to those types of activities. So there's really something for everybody. And these opportunities include traditional study abroad, service learning, there are internship experiences, research, and we also now have a variety of online global courses that can be connected back to your preferred disciplines. Along with the study abroad, there are always a lot of different questions. So across the university, there are $300,000 in scholarships awarded every year. Some of those come from my office, some of those come from other offices around the university, including the study abroad office. We have 160 programs that range from short term, which are 2 to 8 weeks, all the way up to semester and year-long programs. And this includes exchange programs or what we can call direct enroll or program provider programs. So that's something that we can get into a little bit more later if you have questions. But really what it means is that there are just a lot of different opportunities for you. And then my last little slide here is just to show you where we have programs. As you can see on this map, everywhere outside of the Antarctic is represented. As a SEBS student, we actually do have marine science research that takes place in both the Arctic and the Antarctic, and we have microbiology research that takes place in the Arctic. So there are a variety of opportunities for you to travel in a traditional experience or a non-traditional experience. So with that, I am going to go ahead and just showcase this last slide where you can use your QR scanner to register for virtual classes. You can enter to win one of several prizes. This also has some of our contact information on it and our Instagram pages. And then from that, I just really want to open the floor up to questions. We can go ahead and take some questions from the chat, or if you would like to unmute yourself, you are welcome to do so now.
I saw Pavitra had a question in the chat. She wanted to know the average cost generally of study abroad. So I just wanted to answer my experience. Mine was an embedded seminar, which means it occurred for 1 week over spring break. And that was about $1,200. And the SEBS scholarship that I received covered over 75% of the costs. And that included airfare and the cost of the tour, as well as food and transportation while there. So I'm sure there are other opportunities available that cost much different. So I'd like for Megan to talk to you about that.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, so study abroad is considered an additional cost to your overall tuition. So if you want to participate in a summer or winter study abroad, it is going to range anywhere from around that $1,200, $1,500 mark, all the way up to $5,000, $6,000, depending on the location and the duration of your program. A program that lasts for 1 to 2 weeks is always going to be less expensive than one that lasts 6 to 8 weeks. One that is in the 6 to 8 week range is also going to include around 6 credits, whereas one that's in 1 to 2 weeks is going to include closer to 3 credits. As far as semester and academic year study abroad, the finances in that start to get a little bit cloudier. And what I mean by that is you're not paying the Rutgers tuition plus study abroad tuition, but each program does have a unique cost. So there are some programs that are at or below Rutgers tuition, and there are other programs that are significantly more expensive than what Rutgers tuition would be. What I do and what the team at the Study Abroad office does is we work with each of our students to find the best program that's going to fit for both their academic interests, their financial background, and their location desire. So we don't want to send you to Australia if you're really, really interested in going to Thailand, for example. But we do also want to make sure that we find the programs that are going to be the best fit for you.
Thank you very much. That answers my question.
Great. Are there any other questions out there? And again, feel free to unmute yourself. We've got plenty of time. I am also happy to talk about some of the study abroad programs that are more specific to SEBS majors. The SELA Belize program is always one of the more popular programs, partially because we have a lot of animal science students, and it does count directly towards the experience-based education requirements. Now, what that means is that you do 3 credits of study abroad in Belize, getting hands-on experience with a variety of different types of animals, predominantly farm animals. And that then translates directly back to your major as the required experience-based education. For animal science, there are more experience-based education credits required than in any of our other majors. There's also the wildlife SELA program, which deals more with exotic animals like jaguars. My favorite is the, oh my goodness, I just forgot her name, but she's a tapir. There's a blind tapir that was always my favorite. And there's just a load of different experiences there. I already mentioned our microbiology and culture of cheese and wine program. This one is really exactly what it sounds like. You're going to study the science behind what makes cheese and wine happen. You're going to be doing this in France in the Bordeaux region with one of our faculty members from the microbiology department. We have public health programs in Mexico and Thailand. We also have a really exciting environmental and business economics program based in India, studying the processing and marketing of black tea. So these are a sample of some of the short-term study abroad programs that take place in either the winter or the summer. I also almost forgot food sustainability in Thailand. So that one is increasing in popularity as well. So as we wait for any more questions to pop up, I wanted to maybe ask Jeremy and Veronica some questions. What was your favorite part of your study abroad experience? Either one of you.
Veronica, you go first, ladies first.
Okay, my favorite part about going to Belize was 2 things. Okay, so my first favorite part was they have a famous rice and beans, and it tastes so good. Like I can't eat rice and beans the same way in America. It just doesn't hit the same. I can only eat it in Belize. Okay, and my second favorite thing is that you really are like a veterinarian there, and I have pictures to show like what we did exactly. I feel like pictures are gonna basically like show it more besides like me explaining it. So here is like our spay neuter clinic, and like that's, I don't know if you can see that, but like that's me like cutting open like a dog, and we were like suturing back the skin. So that was like really, really cool. And then so that's me and one of the vets in Belize, and I was just like holding the thing for him just for him to cut it. So that was really cool. And you really learn about like the anatomy and stuff, which helps you when you take courses at Rutgers. It helps you like in your classes. And I took like some cute pictures of like the dogs they had there. And this dog had like fleas and ticks all over him. So we had to give him like a cream to get it off. Oh, and then we also did like physical exams on dogs like that, on horses, I mean. So that's one of the horse. Oh, we gave vaccines to like sheep, and this was one of the doctor's farms, so we got to meet all of his animals, and we held baby goats. And I never like held a baby goat before, so that was like amazing. Yeah, so that's what I would say was my favorite part. So I guess like learning about the Belize culture, and also that you really are acting like a veterinarian when you're there.
And for me, going off of the rice and beans portion of Veronica's story, what was awesome was we tried this new fruit that I'd never heard of or tried before in my life. It's called mamey sapote, and it's a mixture between a sweet potato and what was it? A mixed of sweet potato and pumpkin. and it tasted like something I'd never tasted before. And we got ice cream of Mame every day, every single day, and smoothies, and we just tried everything having to do with Mame the entire time we were there. That was one of my favorite experiences. And secondly, when we were at the Biocultural Reserve, which also not only just functions as a protection for wildlife, but also a protection of the archaeological ruins there. There's Mayan ruins on top of the jaguars and pumas and other big cats that are preserved in that region. We got to sleep in a hut, a Mexican hut, in a hammock for that night, and that was the first time I had ever slept in a hammock. So really, it was awesome being enveloped in the Mexican culture while I was there. From going to eating mame and sleeping in a hammock, I felt like a real native.
Oh, that's great. Thank you both so much for sharing. That actually does make me think, though, you guys both talked a lot about culture and the food, obviously. I mean, food is why I got into the international education business. But how did you apply what you learned in your study abroad programs to your education at Rutgers?
So I think I touched on this just a little bit in my first segment. When we went and snorkeled on the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, I said that we got to see the effects of climate change firsthand. So as ocean temperatures warm and as the ocean becomes more acidic because it's collecting more and more carbon dioxide, which we learned about this whole cycle while we were there in Mexico, this scientific cycle. As these temperatures rise and the ocean becomes more acidic, it causes the corals to expel their living parts, and therefore it becomes white. And that's what causes corals to die. And that's what massive bleaching events are. So we got to see some areas of the reef that were bleached. And when we visited the mangrove forest, we also got to see the interdependence of the mangrove forest on the coral reefs. If we don't have a barrier out in the ocean, then we don't have something to protect the mangroves further inland. And since hurricanes are becoming more frequent and severe with climate change, the mangroves are becoming more and more affected by the coral reefs starting to become affected. So that was a major pivotal role in the education, the scientific education, while I was in Mexico for meteorology, because I was seeing the effects of climate change on both the coral reef ecosystem and the mangrove ecosystem and how those two interact.
Great, thank you. Veronica, what about you? Yours is definitely a very direct hands-on experience.
Okay, so for me, when we were doing like the spays, the neuters, and physical exams, that helped me in my companion animal science class that I had to take at Rutgers, and that was like a majority about dogs and cats, and we worked a lot with dogs and cats in Belize, so that helped me like studying and learning about like the internal organs and like what they need to eat and like the physical structure. But when I worked in the animal hospital in Belize, and then also I shadowed a veterinarian in America, I saw like a lot of different things, so that was interesting. Like they do the spays and neuters differently than how like people in America do it. And I thought that was really interesting because I never learned how to do it the way that they did in Belize, but I always saw my vet do it a different way. So that was cool. Oh, and also suturing was very, very different. Like I had to learn a new way of suturing when I did it in Belize. So yeah, that was interesting. I saw a lot of like different like medicines that they did, and yeah, I really liked that because I just got the new experience.
Definitely. Both of you have shared such, really interesting experiences with the culture, with the education. But I know one of the questions that I hear the most frequently from students is, but how do you make it happen? So can you maybe tell me what your application process was like and what your preparation to participate in these programs was like?
I could go first with that. At Rutgers, we have something called the Study Abroad Fair, and it's biannual. It happens in the fall and spring semesters. And that's basically where I got all my information about study abroad. It's a huge event where they have food from all kinds of areas of the world, and they have booths set up for every single study abroad opportunity that's available. They have booths set up for students who want to study abroad for a whole semester, say in Japan or in Great Britain or in France. But then they also have booths set up for these either winter or summer sessions where you have a study abroad for 2 to 6 weeks. And then they also have the embedded seminars, which are 1 or 1.5 week long seminars. And you find that all out at this study abroad fair. We had a virtual study abroad fair to be able to learn more about what's going to be available once things get back to normal. And I even learned something while I was at that virtual study abroad fair, and I would love to participate in it if I don't graduate before it happens. But yeah, you can learn so much from that. And I'm going to include a link to the Rutgers Global page, which allows you to look at these same activities, these same opportunities that you would see at the study abroad fair. And you can even toggle them to see how long you'd want them to be, how many credits you'd like them to be, and where you'd like them to be in the world. So I'm gonna attach that link now.
Great, thank you for attaching that. Veronica, what was your process like?
Okay, so how I heard about Belize was a little easy actually. It was very easy. So I had every animal science major has to take an animal science course. It's like the introduction to animal science. And I remember we had a guest speaker in like the first week. It was a girl who already went to Belize, and she had a whole presentation about what she did and how much she paid for it, and she went through the whole process of like what she did there in application. So I learned about it in my first week as a freshman at Rutgers. And then I also like kept hearing about it every single semester, and like the pre-vet club, we have an animal science club that always talks about it. You can always see like flyers like hung up everywhere, like on the walls. It's also in the animal science building. So like it's a very famous program that animal science students do. So it was very easy to hear about it. And it was also at the study abroad fair as well. So I got to get like more information and look into the website. But my application process, so there was like a website that I believe only Rutgers students can get into. But I went on the website and I just typed in Belize animal science, and it was like the first link. And I clicked on that, and you have like these little check boxes. So you have to do like, you have to like send in your courses, and then I think like maybe your grades. And it was like a first section, and then you went to the second section, and then there was like a payment process. So that's how it was like. But it was relatively easy to hear about it and get accepted into it as well.
Great. And when do you think students should start thinking about study abroad programs?
As soon as you get to Rutgers, I think you should attend the study abroad fair as a freshman, learn about the opportunities that are available to you, and then plan your future accordingly. Because if you can determine what semesters and what times in which you want to study abroad early, you can absolutely make it work. For me, learning about that opportunity in Mexico as a freshman, I was able to study abroad, and not too many freshmen really study abroad. So that was an awesome opportunity. And I think that you should look into it right away. If you really want to do something that augments your career and augments your learning within the classroom, because I really don't think you can possibly learn the way you do when you're abroad. And it's an opportunity that all Rutgers students really should take advantage of, since Rutgers offers it. So yeah, as soon as you can, I would say.
Yeah, I can definitely second that. The sooner you do it, not only can you learn about the experiences sooner, but you can do more than one. And I think that that's something really important to highlight is there's nothing stopping you from studying abroad more than once while you're at Rutgers. We have students who study abroad 2 or 3 times. They do a variety of short-term study abroad programs or semester or even year-long study abroad programs. There's nothing stopping you from doing this multiple times. So just going to go back to the audience, see if there are any other questions that anybody might have. So far, we're feeling pretty quiet. Well, Jeremy and Veronica, do you two have any last thoughts that you think students should consider when thinking about study abroad, especially when thinking about study abroad as a SEBS student?
I guess when I was in high school and I heard about college students studying abroad, I always envisioned going away for a whole semester or going away for a whole year in a completely different country. And I always thought to myself, oh, I'll never study abroad. That's too far for me. I'd be away from home for too long. It would be too much money. It's not for me. But then when I got to Rutgers and learned about all the different opportunities that are available for you that range in duration from 1 week to 1 year, there's really something available out there for everyone. And as a SEB student, I found a program that not only intensified my SEBS passions with the mangroves and the coral reefs and the biocultural reserve, but I also found something that strengthened my cultural and historical interests and my language interests in wanting to practice my Spanish. So there are opportunities that almost seem custom tailored to the individuals of Rutgers, whether you be interested in just SEBS or much more than that. So that's my closing message. I think that you need to realize that study abroad isn't what you always thought it was. At least it wasn't for me. And there are opportunities available for pretty much everyone.
Veronica, what about you? Any closing sentiments or thoughts?
Yeah, so I feel like everyone should get the opportunity to study abroad, and everyone does have the opportunity to study abroad, but everyone should take the opportunity to study abroad because, I mean, I knew study abroad was going to be really like fun thing to do, but I didn't know it was going to be that much fun. Like I really miss it so much. When you're there, you don't want to leave. Like you get so much experience, and I didn't think I was really going to be that hands-on. I thought I was mostly going to be in a classroom and get a little bit hands-on experience like once a week, but I had hands-on experience every single day, and I was mostly getting hands-on experience than listening to someone speak to me. So it was a lot of fun. I think everyone should do it, and you're not going to get the same experience that you get studying abroad than compared to where you are in America. It's just totally different. So I think everyone should definitely go. And there's a lot of scholarship opportunities as well. SEBS gives scholarships. The study abroad office gives scholarships. Your major, specific major, will give you a scholarship, and you can also apply just on the national level and type up in Google, study abroad scholarship as well. So
Great, thank you. And I do want to reiterate that study abroad really is an opportunity designed for everybody. There's nobody that to study abroad is, it's only for them. We strive at Rutgers to be inclusive of all of our students' needs and interests, and we've really put that thought into our study abroad programs. It's why we offer programs in a variety of different regions with a variety of different academic backgrounds and a variety of different cost structures. So if you have any questions about study abroad, please feel free to reach out to me. Our website I have just added to the chat function, and you can always get more information by emailing us. So I am putting the email for my office in the chat right now. And I'm also going to put up the last slide of the presentation. So you can always reach out to me at sebsglobal@sebs.rutgers.edu. I've put that in the chat. Again, you can get more information about study abroad, about SEBS in general, by connecting with us on Instagram. I know that SEBS is on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can also always email us directly. There's a email specifically designed for prospective students. That's perspective@sebs.rutgers.edu. And you can always give us a phone call or check us out on the website. I really hope to see all of you at Rutgers in the near future. I say that for our current continuing students as well. It will be wonderful to see everybody in person again soon. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out. And we really enjoyed having you with us today. So thank you so much. And if you want to study abroad, start thinking about it now.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming.
everyone for joining.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend, everyone.